I would like to welcome all of you to today's session, and I am delighted to welcome Samir Bhatta. Samir is a fantastic trainer, international trainer and coach, and based in Jordan. And today, Samir is going to tell us about learning impact and creating a long-lasting bond with learners, which is totally in par with what we're trying to do with facilitation done right, which is about looking at better ways to embed learnings and creating long-lasting experience. And in a more digital world, being an opportunity for learners to touch base, as a sounding board. And I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Samir. Samir and I met in another international training organization based in Brussels. And what struck me about Samir was that he was the nicest person and also the most open-minded, one of the most open-minded trainer, especially when it came to the virtual classroom, which is my part in the training organization. Absolutely open to change, willing to try, taking it as an opportunity, and being a fantastic person to work with. Therefore, I am absolutely delighted to have you with us today, Samir. Welcome, Samir. How are you?
Thank you. Fine, great. Thank you very much for that impressive introduction. Actually, let me say something. Gail was the person who certified me for online training, so I'm delighted to be her student.
Thank you. And Samir was a great student, absolutely. And by all standards, I think I'm safe to say that you're not a millennial, Samir, and that's part of the reason you're here today, is that Samir is, even though, slightly older than the average millennial, Samir has embraced a whole range of digital tools, not only the virtual classroom. If you follow Samir, you will see him very active on LinkedIn and Facebook, and is it Pinterest as well, your other place of choice, Samir?
Yeah, Pinterest and sometimes the Twitter, but I don't use it a lot. But actually, I post there, but I don't see interaction there.
Well, so Samir is definitely engaged into the digital world and has a YouTube channel, and this is why I think he was a very well-positioned person to contribute into facilitation done right and tell us more about creating a long-lasting bond with learners. So over to you, Samir.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Please give me a green tick if you can hear me well.
So fantastic. A lot of green ticks. Everybody can hear you, Samir.
Great. Thank you very much. Let me first start by introducing myself. I'm Samir Bhatta, as Gail said. I'm Jordanian. Delighted to be a Jordanian, but I work in Europe, Middle East, Africa, East Asia. I started my business in training and development back in 2005. After spending 22 years in the corporate life, I was working with Merck Co, an international pharmaceutical company. I started in sales, ending up managing Middle East, Africa, and Europe. And in 2005, I started my own business. My company name is Lead to Act International. And my personal mission in life is, as you can see down in the slide, is helping individuals to find their full potential to have a lasting change in behavior. So of course, through coaching and a variety of customized and actionable learning solutions. So this is what I do. Simply, this is me. I'm a grandfather, by the way. I'm not a millennial, as you said. My daughter and my son are married. I have my daughter is a telecom engineer, and she's a certified trainer also at the same time. And my son is an architect, and both are married. I have a lovely granddaughter. Her name is Raya. She's 3 years old. Okay, I enjoy spending time with her. So
but you're still a very young grandfather, Samir. We can't believe. It's hard to believe you are.
I was married early. This is why.
That's the trick.
good. You said that we are in a sunny environment. Of course, actually in Jordan it rains all the time in winter, but today it's very sunny and beautiful. It looks like spring, unlike London now and Europe. So
Absolutely.
I'm enjoying the sun here.
We're under our snow blanket. So so let's share the sun of Jordan onto this session, Samir.
Yes, sure, I will. Now, let me start by telling you that I will take you in a journey why we need to create a long-lasting bond with our learners, and how do I do it myself, and what needs to be done. And I would like to listen to your suggestions, and I'd love this session to be highly interactive. It's your session, and I would love to learn from you, because I learned from my previous colleagues during this facilitation done right. I will add a little bit, but I learned a lot actually from my previous colleagues and from Gail, of course. So I will take you on that journey, the 3 steps. Now, let me start by asking a question. I need to create a conversation here. I would like you to put yourself in the shoes of learners and tell me what drives you to keep connected with your facilitator or trainer or coach. So what are the drivers that makes you really connected with your teachers, facilitators, trainers, coaches? So there will be a whiteboard if you would like to put your answers there.
The whiteboard is coming up, and a quick recap on how to use the whiteboard for those of you who join a little bit late. So you can click on the top left-hand corner. You've got an arrow, and you click on one of the line in the whiteboard. You go back to the top of the screen, click on the T for text, and click next to your arrow, and you type your answer. And when you're done, you go back to T, and you display your text. So we're gonna give you a minute or two to collect your thought and type your answer. Oh, Aladdin, you're trying to draw. You can use the T for text and type next to your arrow. That will probably be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Okay. Olivia is asking us to repeat the question, so let me just do that. As a learner, what would drive you to keep connected with your facilitator or trainer? So why would you forge a bond? What would be the benefits for you? Thank you very much, Aladdin, and you've now mastered the art of the whiteboard. Well done. So while some of you are finishing to type, I am going to gather the answers. So thank you all for your contribution. I can see here that Aladdin says, choose the right topic that touch my mind. Olivia says, content, their interest in me and my learning and sharing their passion. Kat says, humor, eye contact, remembering something about me. That will say empathy, make me involved and sharing experience. Interaction and learning from sharing experience. And selfishly, I've written that I like to have answers about my personal issues, so like kind of bouncing question and answers to a facilitator or trainer.
This is great. Great answers, actually, because this is in line with what I was thinking. And I would like to share with you something which is in line with what you have just said. Everybody in what that we encounter, they have motives, and they say, what's in it for me? Let's say to join, what's in it for me to buy something, what's in it for me to accept an idea. And these are general motives, actually. And I will read it for you, and you will see that it is linked to what you have just said. First, everybody will ask, how can I make gain? What is in it for me? Gain could be tangible or intangible gain at the same time. So this is one of the motives that make somebody might connect with you. The second is avoiding loss, because sometimes people feel that I might avoid losing tangible or intangible things. So this is why they have the motive to buy something or accept an idea or have, let's say, a relationship with someone. The third one is, how can I avoid pain, worries, and problems? And everybody would like to live a happy life. So how can I avoid this if I join, I buy, or I select something? The fourth one is, how can I feel more comfortable and convenient? Because people, they want to feel comfortable and convenient and relaxed at the same time. And how can I look good? Everybody is looking at to be socially accepted, and they want to look good at the same time. Now, the sixth motive, these are general motives, as I said. How can I be more self-satisfied as a person? So these are the motives. What you have just written and came up with is, let's say, humor, connect with me, I feel I contact, he mentions me by name, or he interacts with me personally. So this is in line with what I have on this slide. And I like to share with you a very nice quote by Brené Brown. He says, connection is the energy that is created between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued at the same time. So people would like to be seen, heard, and valued at the same time. This is why they get connected with you as learners. And for me, I have listed some points that when I asked my learners, they came up with these answers. And I would like also to fill, and maybe Gail will help me to fill in the slide. Learners need a motive to implement the skills learned, because we teach them skills. We spend with them 2 to 3 days, or even maybe 5 days, and we leave. So if they don't have the right management and the right supervisors to help them implement the skills, and sometimes they don't have the motive or they forget, so they need someone as a mentor from outside to help them implement these skills. So this is the first thing that I feel that learners want. Second thing is a chance to have a community of similar interests to discuss how to solve problems. Actually, if there are problems, people like to go and ask others who experience the same and have the similar interests in order to get feedback from them. Let me mention something here because it's important. When I use social media, sometimes in some training programs, I create a page specific for those who get the training program, and they share ideas, concepts, solving problems. I will be there all the time to help them, but at the same time, they share together and they have good insight. The third thing is learners will feel that they have mentors to refer to, of course, free of charge mentors. And this is very important because we have a mission. And I told you that personally, I do have a mission in life that help people find their potential and find their passion at the same time. So they want to have people who help them achieve something. I would like to ask you here if you have some other points that you can add in addition to what you have just said in the previous whiteboard session. So would you like to add something? Maybe you can have it in the chat box, and Gail will help us.
Absolutely, you can have it in the chat box. You can raise your hand. Anything that you feel motivate learners to be part of a learning community, a learning group. And I know we've got some people who've got great experience here, so we're going to give you just a minute to add maybe to this list on the chat, or raising your hand and contributing verbally.
Good. Anything?
Nothing is coming up. Maybe a slow start in the morning for some of us.
Maybe some people need some coffee. This is
maybe.
But it's okay. It's okay. No problem.
Oh,
you
sorry.
just have. Yeah.
Oh, so thank you. Lucille is adding, having post-session to discuss your experience after the training. And I think that's a very good point, Lucille. Putting probably the live experience in how the learning applies to a real situation is quite important, isn't it, Samir?
Yeah, sure. So to discuss our experience and discuss our, let's say, if we have any issues or problems and how we can solve it together.
Applying learning. So thank you, Lucille. I'm just adding to this list. Darwin said, find a personal link and discuss similar personal experience can make a difference. So comparing experience, another great one.
Good. Excellent points.
Thank you very much, Dawila and Lucille.
Thank you very much. That's a very good addition to what I have. Great. Now, let me ask you another question. Now, I would like you to, and you are great facilitators and instructors and coaches at the same time. So now I would like you to put the hat of facilitator and instructor and tell me, what drives you to keep a long-term connection with your learners yourselves? Again, we can use the whiteboard. As Gail said, you can use the arrow and the text.
Yes, let me just recap again, because it's always good to recap. So you can click on the arrow on the top left-hand corner and click on the whiteboard. And just a quick reminder, the question is, as a facilitator, trainer, or coach, what are the benefits for you to keep in touch with your learners after the session, to create a bond, to be the point of contact that we've discussed? So what do you think are the benefits? So remember to click on the arrow, click on the whiteboard, and then click on the T for text, and then next to your arrow, you can write your answer.
Yeah.
So excellent. So we've got answers starting to come up. So I think it must be Aladdin at the top. Confirm that. Let me just zoom out. Yes, it is. Confirm that that skills and information had been delivered well to my trainee. So yes. Validation, absolutely. Kat, you're still typing. Remember to disclose your text when you're done. Lucille, being able to see if our training and facilitation method is successful. Fantastic. There will I be up to date on what is going on regarding the training topic. Absolutely. So keeping up with changes and evaluation for trainee and trainers. Kat said it is satisfying to see the changes they make as a result, and it also helps identify other areas that make amendments in the future. So thank you very much, everybody. Some excellent responses here.
And yourself, you said getting feedback onto what we are doing, right? And learners sharing on social media and benefits for their learnings. Great. So thank you very much for your answers, because actually this is true 100%.
And sorry, Samir, there is, I think, Aladdin adding that trainees are on the ground, and so they can, from time to time, come with new ideas, solutions, and that it is like from real life experience. So thank you very much, Aladdin.
Thank you, Aladdin. Thank you very much. And actually, these are great points. And if I will share with you what I have as a facilitator, maybe you are better than I am in this because you are all great facilitators and trainers. Now, my drivers to keep strong bond is in line with what you have just said. As I said in the beginning, my job is to make a positive difference and show that I care. People want people who care. And trainees usually, if they don't find this at their job from their management, they have bossy people there and so on. People, they want someone that cares. And since my job is to make a positive difference, and I'm a people-oriented person, so I show them that I care. This is why I like to get connection with them. Second thing that I do have is fulfill my mission, which is helping people achieve their passion and ambitions. And this is another thing that I do have as a personal mission. I like them to feel that they're successful. And this is what makes me happy, actually. As Gail mentioned in the beginning, I'm not a millennial. I'm a bit old. I have everything, but now my mission in life is to make a difference.
I didn't say old, Samir.
No, no, in listening, you don't listen to the words, you listen to the meaning. This is no. This is what I think about myself. I'm not young. Okay. And the third thing is engaging and inspiring other learners, because people are looking for people that engage them and inspire them all the time, on a long term. And for me, I offer immediate, ongoing personal feedback on issues they face at work. And I would like to mention here that I get daily messages from people. Can you help me? I have a new offer, job offer, or I have this problem with my manager. How can you help me based on what we have, and so on. So I act like a mentor and a coach for certain people, of course, as people who attended programs with me, and they refer to me. And this gives me actually a big, or they inspire me when they ask me about this. And I don't mind giving my opinion. And I built an online community, which is important. We are all in marketing. We are all in business. So it's important to build an online community. And as I mentioned to Gail before, that I get my business always from references from people that I trained. Maybe I trained 10 years ago, and now they are managers, and they come back to me, and they want to train their people, and so on. So this is a very good marketing tool. And it's a tool to market my services and products, which is important. And finally, building trust as a coach and advisor, because I want people to trust me, and I want to trust them. So it's essential to build the trust. So these are the points that I do have, in addition to what you have just said, because what you have said is in line with I was just talking, because you're experts in that field. Now, talking about trust, I always ask people a question in my programs. People are influenced by people and they answer trust. 95% of the people, they answer trust. And I would like here to share with you something that I planned. Is there are two kinds of trust when people trust you. There is a personal trust, and there is something we call it professional trust. Now, personal trust, if you connect with people, people will like you as a person, and definitely they will trust you personally. And it's very essential at the personal level. And here plays a big role. The emotional intelligence plays a big role, and social intelligence plays a big role, connection with people. The second trust is the professional trust. If you are credible, people will respect you. Definitely, they will trust you. Now, in order to have a good influence zone as a facilitator, you need to have high credibility in or professional trust, high, as you can see on the chart, and high personal trust at the same time. And we call that the influence sweet zone. And, you know, professional trust alone doesn't help. Personal trust alone doesn't help. But we need to have both, a combination of personal and professional trust. Here, I would like to ask you a question. What do you do in order to build your personal credibility and your professional credibility? Thank you very much, Kat, because you love the slide. Now, what do we do to build this personal credibility and professional credibility? Let us discuss and share and have a conversation about this. And I might add also my views on that.
So you know how it works now. I will probably not repeat it, but yes, so you've got a box to put personal credibility and then next to it professional credibility. And I will try to help Hannah join the conference call just now while we're doing that.
Yeah, so Willa said, I think you cannot build it. You have it in your, yeah. It's an innate ability, Willa. Yes, I agree with you. Aladdin, very studying of the topic that I want to talk about. Yeah? What topic you would like to talk about, Aladdin? What do you mean by your message?
Let me just open your line, Aladdin, because we're a small group and it is a nice opportunity to have a conversation. Your line is open, Aladdin.
Yes, Aladdin, go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Samir, how are you? And
fine.
I'm proud to be one of your students before.
Thank you very much. It's my privilege, my friend.
Yeah, what I'm talking about, Doctor, is to read about that. Most of my trainings are now mostly in emergency response and safety. So when I want to give an example for a training about first aid, so I know that I have a limit, the knowledge limit of the people that I want to give them training. So I read more and more about their knowledge level in order that any unexpected question that might happen, or they raise it from here, from social network, from movies. All the time when I give a training, they say to me, we watch this in movie, we watch this in movie. So I have to be prepared for unexpected questions. Not only what's in my slides. So I can't say to the student that, okay, it's not in our slides, so I cannot give you, I can't give you an answer. No, I have to give him the answer, even if it's above, out of the topic or out of the curriculum that I want to give him. So I have to study well for more unexpected questions.
Yes.
And that's my point.
Yes, good. Thank you very much, Aladdin.
And also to share a real life experience. So when they feel that, okay, I have a real life experience with this topic, it will give you more credible than just like a lecturer who just came and read some papers and he just wanted to go and read these papers and finish this lecture.
Exactly. I may comment on that. What you mean is that you are there for the people attending. You're just not a presenter. You're not just somebody who's lecturing, but you are there to help them learn, at the same time have a take-home message, which is which they can implement. Right? Good. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. And Darwella said, I think you cannot build it, and it's the personal credibility. It's an innate ability. Is that right, Darwella? Yeah. And for the professional credibility, you're saying that showing results and experience and respond to customer demands. Yeah, exactly. Because if you know your topic and you know your, what do you call it, what you're talking about, and you're credible, then people will connect with you professionally. And at the personal level, actually, what I will tell you is that some people think it is an innate ability, and I agree with that. But again, we can develop it, because I've read lots of books on emotional intelligence, EQ, and it's like leadership. 20% is inherited, but 80% is acquired. So connection with people, we can learn it, and as leaders, as facilitators, as people who are emotionally intelligent and socially intelligent people, so we can develop it, I'm sure. And Lucille says, have empathy and share with people. Exactly. Put yourself in their shoes. At the same time, maybe calling them by name and talking to them personally, and have that chemistry is very important in order to have that personal credibility. Now, for professional, we're saying, Lucille, that commit to what you say exactly, and bring results and on them. Definitely, this is true. That will build that professional credibility. And Kat, be open, honest, friendly, and I will add to have that chemistry between you and people. And for professional credibility, share knowledge, help others understand what the client wants, and repeat it back so they feel understood. Exactly. This is very important. Lizzie, welcome on behalf of everybody, and thanks for joining. Is there anything that you would like to add to this question? How we can build personal trust and credibility with participants and learners, and how we can build professional credibility and trust? Because as we said, the influence sweet zone needs both personal and professional trust. Anything else? If you don't like the whiteboard, you can write on the chat box, so I can read it, no problem. Great. Gail, you want to say something about this?
No, sorry. I was trying to help one of the participants to join the audio, so that's why I was being quiet.
I see. I'm not used to hear you, or not to hear you.
Sorry.
Good. No problem. So let me move to the second slide, which is now we discussed why we need to create that particular bond with people, with learners, and with, let me say, students sometimes. Now we will move into the how we can do it. And how is, I would like you here also to join a conversation. And I have a question. You see my picture is there with one of the participants. Now, which channels do you prefer to use to keep connected with your learners? How can we be connected with our learners? Gail in the beginning said Samir is have a good presence on the social media, mostly with I'm available on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and these are the most tools that I do use. So for you, what do you think are the channels that you prefer to use? More specifically, because we're abroad, and sometimes today the social media and the internet help us to connect globally with people in different locations of the world. So what channels do you use?
So you can use the chat for this, or raise your hand simply.
Yeah.
Let me have a look. It's coming up.
Lucille, I'm not a facilitator, but as a learner, I prefer face-to-face meetings than, if not possible, video meeting. Great. Okay.
So Aladdin said Facebook.
Yes, good.
I'm myself quite a bit on Twitter, and I've got the feeling that some of us today are actually on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
Kat says LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram for professional relationship. I don't really have a learner community as such. The will I say is LinkedIn group.
Good. Dr. Wella says I'm a learner as well. Good. We are all learners, actually.
It is a fair point, isn't it? I think as someone who is in education, we need to put ourselves as learners most of the time as well.
Of course, of course. Learning never stops, actually. Any other ideas so we can...
I think on a B2B environment, and quite a lot of us work with professionals, I think we've covered the mainstream one, haven't we? LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Exactly. Good. Now, let me share with you what's the importance of social media. I'm not the best person to talk about this because there are experts who are more experienced than I am in social media and why we need to be engaged with our learners on social media today. Now, for me, social media opens possibilities of direct access to clients without any third-party interventions. In the past, because I witnessed the era where there were no social media, and usually we do it through a third party. Nowadays, we have the direct access without that third-party intervention. Same thing is related to no geographical boundaries, so expanding potential global customers quickly. And this is very important. As I told you, I'm living in Jordan, but I'm working all over the place, all over the world. I have participants from the US, from Europe, from East Asia, and so on, if I'm online. And whether it's face-to-face, as Lucille said, yes, even I go face-to-face in those different places. But again, the online community will prevent those geographical boundaries, and we can actually connect with people while we are in our places. It's easily accessible, and it's also the meeting point of today's internet survey audience. And people today are linked with all social media, and they have access with mobile phones, tablets, laptops, with computers everywhere. So they are connected. So easily to access people. And we need to keep up, and it helps us actually keep us with current global trends. I'm not a millennial, as we said, but again, if I don't follow the current global trends, maybe I will fall behind, or I will go behind, and I will. Otherwise, I will. I will never be able to cope with the current trends worldwide. Targeting the right audience and having a two-way communication traffic, definitely, and this is why I think social media is very important today.
And Samir, can I just interrupt for a second?
Yes, go ahead.
Because in the learning and development world, obviously everybody talks about learning communities, and when I talk to trainers and facilitators coming to the virtual classroom courses mostly, they often said, well, I've been asked to create one, but people are actually pretty inactive in them. How many, or in percentage, or estimate, how many of your learners do actually contribute onto the learning community? How active are they?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Actually, more than 50%. More than 50% of people are active and interact. And if you look at LinkedIn, in LinkedIn, there is a very good tool that says how many people viewed what you wrote or the pictures that you posted and so on. Now, people that they like maybe or they comment are few, but the people that view that is by far more than what you think, actually. So 50% or more than 50% they interact, but again, people view it, and this is the most important thing. Now, for me, if you post, let's say, a picture, or if you post something, you write something, there's a click there that says you can see the people that viewed that, and this is important. Some people, they like to stay silent and don't intervene, but again, they view it. like this session and the sessions before with you, facilitation done right, you can see that we have 6 to 7 or 8 people participating actively, but those who watch the recording are by far more. So some people, they are shy to interact and intervene, but at the same time, they see it. Yeah.
Thank you, Samir. And I actually have a follow-up question.
Yes.
A lot of clients, corporate clients, have their own communities. How come you're not using them? Or are you using them in some occasions? How does it work?
You mean their intranet communities?
Yes, I think very often it's YAMA, but it can be other LMS, community building. So it's part of the L&D or HR system, and you can post on it. How does it work? Are you invited to contribute? Are you not because you're an external client?
Yes.
Is it a place where people are not active? How do you position yourself towards those internal communities?
Yeah, sometimes if I'm allowed to be invited to access this, I do that. But mostly these days, these are closed communities. And because of the compliance issues and so on, you're not allowed to jump in as an external person. So sometimes you're not allowed to, unless they allow you to do that. But usually what I do is I check. And I respect my client, definitely, privacy and so on. If they allow me to go in, yes. And I have a few clients, that especially on LMS and some intranet, what do you call it, hubs, I'm allowed to go in, yes. But
and when you're allowed to, because I think we experienced it together, how active do you feel those communities are? Are they more or less active than the open one that you informally manage?
Actually, they are less, to tell you the truth, because I don't know, maybe they don't have the motive to go in, and sometimes they are pushed internally to go into these LMSs or the internal communities. And they are pushed only when there's a course or a program and they need to do a pre-work assignment. So they get into that. But again, after that, they don't have that privilege because they're busy. And this is what they claim, actually. We're busy, we cannot go in, I don't have the time to do that. So I see it less frequent, actually.
And I think something is coming now in the chat.
Yes.
So Lucille said, from my experience, they're less used. And indeed, I think they're a little bit, you have to log in, you have to join. They're sometimes not mobile friendly, so they are less active. But the question I was leading into it is that how do you communicate about you being in touch with the learners, with your clients? Is it something that part of the package you're offering to your client? You said, well, I'm available and the learners will be able to keep in touch with me, or is it something that you do totally informally during the course of the course, and then the corporate clients don't necessarily notice it, or is it a selling point that you're using? How do you leverage those learning communities?
Actually, and now this is to me, right? This question is to me.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Actually, if I'm invited to do that, and it's part of the package, as you said, sometimes part of the package is to have an access to LMS, and I do add some maybe pre-reading things or discussions before the course or after the course. It comes with the package, and usually companies, big corporates, they allow you to do that, and they help you to do that. But some other companies, actually, I don't ask them for that because I leave it up to them. Unless I want to keep in touch with the people before and after the program, I do ask. And some people, they don't allow that. So I respect this as a provider of service. But usually it comes from the client and it's part of the package. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Samir. So would you say that most of your courses that you deliver or programs are mostly blended these days? So you use part of digital aspects to the teaching.
Like
Thank you very much.
yeah. They are blended learning. I do, let's say, like this WebEx before the program to listen to the people's expectations, what they would like to learn, if they have any questions before, and I share with them the objectives of the program. Because in many cases, in some organizations, they are invited to attend a program, but their objectives is different than the objectives of the agreed upon training with the organizers there. And I feel sometimes when you go and train them, okay, and I learned by experience, by the way, I feel that sometimes if you go there, they'll tell me, this is not what I want from this training. Let's say there's a program called consulting skills, internal consulting skills for one of the big organizations. Now, I would like to understand what do they mean by consulting skills, because sometimes we design programs based on an agreement with the organizer or the learning and development official there. But again, people, they understand it differently. So I prefer usually to interact with the learners before I go, because we might tweak the program to their needs, and I usually do that. Because at the end of the program, my objective, I begin with the end in mind. I want them to go out of the program happy, and they learn something related to their needs. So this is what I do, actually, and this is why I do blended learnings before, during, or after the course.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Samir. And I think it's a trend that most trainers, especially those who are a little bit at the forefront, have found is that the 1 day or few days training in and out is something that is pretty much dying, isn't it?
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Samir. Sorry I've interrupted.
Sorry. Now we are less interactive with the audience, but if we do have, let's have more interaction. And what I will be doing now is asking them what needs to be done. You know, whether you are a learner or a facilitator or somebody who would like to be a facilitator or a trainer in the future, what do you suggest that needs to be done? And I will open the whiteboard to listen to you, because I don't have input on that. I will be, what do you call it? I will be one of you. So I think I lost the session. Where is it?
Yeah. No, it's still there. Just shake your mouth. It's probably just going to sleep, and it should come back.
Yeah, I can see it now. Because my mouse was dropped. This is why. So let's. I would like to have an open conversation. Whether you can write on the whiteboard or you can open your mic and talk, because we need to have that bond with each other.
What is your action plan, basically? What are you planning on doing?
Exactly.
And some of you have been very good at following the whole facilitation done right. So probably based on today's session, but also on maybe previous session, what do you think you're going to change, try to implement, try to do, maybe new tools that you're planning on using? I've personally, based on this facilitation done right program, started to use Slack. So quite an interesting tool. I don't feel very comfortable with it just now, but I'm getting there. It's a very good way to share ideas, share messages. It's safe, it's trusted, and it's if it's more confidential than let's say Twitter or LinkedIn, where it's quite open and you don't necessarily want to share ideas. Aladdin just posted, I sent him out to the entirety and asked them what is their constant point and what do they need in training they point to improve. So yes, absolutely need assessment. Aladdin, do you also have conversation with them or conversation with the trainers, with the learners, beforehand? How do you can you get access to the learners before a session starts, like Samir does, having a Skype or WebEx before? And thanks, Kat, for putting things, for starting to contribute as well.
Yep.
Kat says, I will think about what follow-up prompt will be useful for the learners after they completed the session. And Kat, what's your views? And you're welcome to raise your hand if you want to unmute yourself, pop it in the chat. Like Samir, are you keen on using open community to encourage people to contribute? Have you tried it? Is it positive? Or do you follow up differently at the moment, or with your learners, or are you planning to follow up in a different way? You're welcome to contribute verbally, as I said. If you want, I can open your line if you raise your hand. I don't want to force it upon you, or you're welcome to use the chat. Cat says all time, so we'll give you a second.
That's good. Okay.
And same thing for you, Aladdin. If you want to contribute verbally, feel free to click on the raise the hand button, and I will open your line. Sometimes it's a bit easier than typing. I send email also via key questionnaires. And in terms, thank you, Aladdin. And in terms of follow-up afterwards, how do you get in touch with, keep in touch with your learners or the organization? Are you quite active already on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter? What sort of response do you have? So just giving a second to Kat and Aladdin to share their thought. Kat said, my main focus is designing session and equipping team leader to deliver them. Therefore, I need to think about what community can be self-maintained rather than relying on me. Okay, and Aladdin said, I'll do WhatsApp group. So when you say that it's not relying on you, so would you maybe create Kat? I'm going first to Kat question. Would you use a YouTube channel, for example, a pool of documents, some form of library system? Have you found something that works particularly well? Yes, you use YouTube, so that's quite a good one. And you're also on YouTube, Samir, am I right in thinking
this? Yes. Actually, what I do have, I do have a website, but it's in Arabic for the Arabic non-English speakers. This website is maharatube.com.
Okay.
And I post on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, but on this website, I have videos, short videos, 3 to 5 minutes max. Skills development in Arabic, just to keep connected with them. And I have lots of traffic on that particular video. And this helps actually reminding them with the messages and so on. I do have also a YouTube channel that we have English speaking and Arabic speaking, what do you call it, videos that help me keep connected with the people. Yeah.
And Kat also said I suggest things like WhatsApp to them. And I think it's something that quite a few organizations have really started to develop at the moment. It's really encouraging collaboration and peer learning. And Kat, I'm not sure if you're familiar with an organization that supported the previous system. It's called Digital Moms, and the entire course is based on self-study videos and peer exercise, peer group assignment, and then they send the assignments, and then it's validated by the facilitator, but there are very seldom sessions with the facilitator, and it is a very successful program. I think it's quite long, and but it is quite successful. And if that's something of interest, I can send you the link to the recording that we did last year with the founder. It is a different way of approaching actually facilitation. So yes, Kat, I will send it to you. I'm just making a note. So there are multiple options, isn't it, Samir? And
yes.
And it's probably time to conclude. So what would be your views, your final views on creating a long-lasting bond with international learners?
Yeah, the last thing that I would say is a motto that I do believe in, and I have it as a wallpaper in my office. And I keep reminding myself is we as facilitators, we need to work for a cause, not for applause, definitely. And this will create the bond. People will see you as credible as they think. And live life to express, not to impress at the same time. And don't strive to make your presence noticed, but just make yourself or your absence felt. As a facilitator, I believe in this. And the person that you like to connect with as a learner is the person that who believes in that. And this is the passion. And this is where you can connect personally and at the same time professionally with the people and build that long-lasting trust. So work for a cause, not for applause. Live life to express, not to impress. Don't strive to make your presence noticed. Just make your absence felt.
And thank you very much, Samir, because I think this quotation is very well received from all our participants who
I can
really welcome it.
I can see the comments. And finally, I would like to thank everybody for being part of this WebEx, and happy to have you there. And these are my contact details in case you need to get in touch with me. I'll be glad to learn from you, and I will be glad to see Kat's videos also, and the other videos that will be posted on this facilitation done right. And finally, I would like to thank Gail for giving me the opportunity to be part of this. And this is really something that I feel great of. So thank you very much, and thanks a lot for your contributions and your positive comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samir. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to have all of you who have been part of Facilitation Done Right. If you want to catch up on any of the recording because you've missed sessions, feel free to contact me. We'll send the recording for today's session, and I will add, as I promised Kat, the other ones from the more collaborative learning session that we ran last year. It's been a pleasure and an honor to work with you, Samir. Thank you for your time, and thank you all for your time. And I just wanted to tell you that Facilitation Done Right is not quite finished yet. We still have a few videos about blended learning that are coming up in the coming few days, and then it's going to become a bit less active. But it's been a pleasure, and to especially those of you who started and followed the entire program, Kat and Lizzie and Dawela and Lucille, but also the facilitators, Kirsty, of course, and Olivia Palmer, and Valerie and Joe Cook. It's been a great experience. So thank you very much, all of you, and of course yourself, Dr. Samir Bata. Thank you very much, all. And you may disconnect now. And to leave the session, you can click on the top left-hand corner on Files and what did I want to say? And say leave session. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Oh, sorry, I've got a message from Kat. Kat just says thank you. Samir, I'm not sure if you followed, but Aladdin says thank you for this nice session. It was very informative, and thank you from Kat. And Lizzie, you're still there.